I've always loved growing my own food, and Pechay is one of the easiest vegetables to cultivate, even without a garden. If you have a small space, a balcony, or just a sunny windowsill, you can grow this nutritious leafy green in pots, containers, or raised beds. Let me walk you through everything you need to know to get a thriving Pechay harvest at home. And before we dive in, if you find this guide helpful, make sure to subscribe to and share this with fellow gardening enthusiasts. Pechay doesn't need deep soil to thrive, so you have plenty of options for containers. I've had great success using wide and shallow pots, recycled plastic containers, and even repurposed wooden crates. The key is to ensure your container has good drainage. Pechay roots don't like sitting in waterlogged soil, so poke a few extra holes in the bottom if necessary. A depth of about 6 to 8 inches is perfect for strong root development. I always say healthy soil leads to healthy plants. Pechay thrives in well-draining, nutrient-rich soil. I use a mix of garden soil, compost, and cocoa peat or rice hulls to improve aeration. If you're buying potting mix, choose one with good organic matter, or mix in aged compost to boost fertility. A slightly acidic to neutral pH around 6 to 7 is ideal, so if you're unsure, test your soil and adjust accordingly. You can directly sow Pechay seeds into your container or start them in seed trays. I often opt for direct sowing to avoid transplant shock. Simply sprinkle the seeds over the soil and lightly cover them with a thin layer of soil. Water gently, and in just a few days you'll see tiny green shoots emerging. If you start with seed trays, transplant the seedlings once they have 3 to 4 true leaves, spacing them about 4 to 6 inches apart to give them enough room to grow. Pechay loves the sun. If you're growing it in containers, place them where they'll get at least 4 to 6 hours of direct sunlight daily. If you're in a particularly hot climate, some afternoon shade will prevent wilting. As for watering, I keep the soil consistently moist, but not soggy. Watering once or twice a day, especially in hot weather, ensures healthy, crisp leaves. I also like using a spray bottle to mist the leaves in the morning to keep them fresh. Since Pechay is a fast-growing crop, it benefits from regular feeding. I apply compost tea or diluted fish emulsion every 2 weeks to encourage lush growth. If you prefer store-bought fertilizers, a balanced 10-10-10 fertilizer works well, but I always go for organic options when possible. A light top dressing of compost halfway through the growing cycle also helps maintain soil fertility. Even in containers, pests like aphids and caterpillars can find their way to Pechay. I always check the leaves for tiny holes or sticky residue, which are signs of infestation. My go-to remedy, a homemade garlic or neem spray. Simply mix a few cloves of crushed garlic with water and a drop of dish soap, then spray on affected plants. If caterpillars are an issue, I handpick them early in the morning. Keeping your plants healthy with proper spacing and good airflow reduces the risk of disease. Pechay grows incredibly fast. In as little as 30 days you can start harvesting. I usually pick outer leaves first, allowing the inner ones to keep growing. This way, I get a continuous harvest for weeks. If I want a full head of Pechay, I wait about 45 days before cutting it at the base. Either way, you get fresh homegrown greens ready for your favorite dishes. Want to keep the cycle going? After harvesting, I often place the root base in a shallow bowl of water. Within days, new leaves start to sprout, and once the roots are strong enough, I transplant it back into the soil. It's a simple way to get more greens from a single plant. If you're still on the fence about growing Pechay in containers, let me tell you, it's one of the most rewarding veggies to cultivate. It's packed with vitamins, grows quickly, and is perfect for beginners. Plus, there's nothing quite like harvesting fresh greens right outside your door. If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more urban gardening tips and share this with anyone who wants to start their own small space garden.